Frieren is literally everywhere. If you watch any anime content, then Frieren is amazing, the best, worthy of the hype, or time, yada yada. It's just something you would have seen or heard before, I know. And yes, this is another type of hype video on why Frieren is great. While this is also in the making, I'm recording and talking to you now. Leon, my co-writer, is also working on an actual video essay that provides genuine reasons as to why it's one of my favorite things ever. Yet, this is not one of those videos. So if getting something like that is what you want, please just wait a week or two until we finish that video. This entire video is being made because, well, recently I saw this video from Gant.
This moment, there are few times where anime can affect me in real life. Frieren actually changed me for the better.
In this, he brings up something that really made me think. A story about him being overseas to see his parents, and if it wasn't for Frieren, he would have gone the entire trip without being in really their presence. If it wasn't about the lesson about the old man and missing out on the people around you, to forget your loved ones, what their smiles, their faces, the light in their eyes, he would have done the same thing. His story truly hit me, and now I want to talk about my experience with the show and how it made me feel as an artist and, well, as me, Charles Olsen. This video is really my attempt to come to terms with the unhealthy nature of being an artist and a YouTuber, using Frieren as my point of reference because that's, one, it's healthier than bottling this up, and two, due to this anime, it helped me understand what my actions look like to others that I love. Just quickly, if you enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I've got tons of videos coming out soon. Thanks. Watching Gant's video, he mentioned the term kudere concerning anime protagonists, and if you've seen my channel before and or are in my Discord, make sure to join, the link in the description down below. You'd know hearing something like that simply meant nothing to me, as I'm still making my way through watching anime, learning the codes and conventions. And while yes, I've covered quite a bit and my anime list is looking much better now, I still have so much to learn. Though Gant explains it quite well, to put it short, Wikipedia tells me it's a Japanese term for a character who appears to not have emotions. They are often stoic and expressionless, and they remain calm in stressful situations. For me, applies to things like Rei from Evangelion, and I agree. In a lot of examples that I've even seen in Western media, the characters that are just emotionless, they can be hard to connect or resonate with. They aren't real or tangible. As Gant said, most turn out to be androids or robots, which if you're trying to make a commentary, feels frankly reductive, almost like an unrealistic exaggeration of someone cold and unable to communicate. The part I saw in Frieren that I saw myself in was the ability to honestly connect to people on a genuine level. As some might know, I am neurodivergent. Neurodivergent is a non-medical umbrella term that describes people with variations in their mental functions and can include conditions such as autism spectrum disorder or other neurological or development conditions such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, otherwise known as ADHD. I don't want to dive into my diagnosis here. I just want to put this out there as I feel there is some merit of relatability in some of the texts we are looking at. I have never really talked about this on the channel. Most of you, if you've looked into the scripts that I've personally written, can probably tell. Future videos will be going deeper into this. It's just, I feel when so many shows or pieces of media try and tackle this, it's quite, I don't know, lame? Like the butt of every joke is, the person has autism or has ADHD. Think Big Bang Theory with Sheldon, how it's very clearly autistic coded and the entire friend group makes fun of him, messes with these set routines, and when you take away the laugh track and look at it from his perspective, half of it seems borderline cruel. Nonetheless, while I don't think Frieren is directly a commentary on this or people on the spectrum, maybe none of it is on purpose. To me, it's just very coded this way. I just feel I resonate with her on this level, and I imagine others do so too. And to go off script here, this isn't something I've seen on Twitter, so maybe I'm completely off base, but this is kind of me just speaking from the heart and not going off other people's opinions here. And here comes the part where, like, how I directly relate. Frieren is a story of this little elf. At this point in the story in which the show starts, she is already over 1,000 years old. We see as her current party of heroes goes from a squad of 10 years, adventuring, killing demons, helping people, to then have 2 of them in graves and 1 of them retired in the very late stages of their life. Frieren yearns to get to know humans more. In that quest, she is tasked to help a little girl, Fern, to help her become the best mage she can be as her apprentice. Frieren and Fern spend years and years together. Their bond becomes something quite special. Yet the part I find just so relatable is even though Frieren is honestly trying, she still makes the most basic of mistakes in trying to accommodate her friend. in knowing her, in being able to communicate valid ideas to her, in trying to get a gift that she would like for her. All of these small, trivial things make this anime what it is. The story of when Frieren is trying to comfort a sick Fern. She grabs her hand and attempts to soothe her. Unbeknownst to her, Fern hates this and begins to blush, and quickly pulls her hand away. And while Stark might be a bit of an idiot, even he is able to recognize this is due to his presence that her response was in this way. Another read of this might be is that Frieren is acting paternal here, and that the same way a mother or a father cares for their child, when they get older, they push away. The one thing that pushes me for the first thought is that Frieren is like this for everyone she meets. I feel that disconnect, that bluntness. It's not that she's some heartless hag, unable to emote at one of her closest friends' funeral, till all just comes out just suddenly. To me, I see myself in this 1,000-year-old elf, in not being able to recognize the value in something like a beautiful sunset, but in how it might affect the people I love. This is not to say I don't love my sunsets, because I sure fucking do. Let me tell you, I love sunsets. But in my everyday life, there are just so many everyday things I do not feel any positive emotion or understand how people do. Like, I just don't feel it. Yet, learning to feel that contentment of people around me being happy, that is something I can also say I've done and now understand. The entire story starts with Frieren bawling her eyes out at the thought of not knowing Himmel, the hero, at all, that 10 years wasn't nearly enough time to truly know someone. To give some background on me, when I was about 10 years old, I moved schools across my state in Australia, knowing no one. When moving on to high school, it was there I found my current friend group. People have come and gone, but the timeline matches the length that Frieren happened to know and be with Himmel and co. That friend group in its totality is around 10 years old. It just so happens that recently, one of my friends had gone on a trip to Japan. This will all come back around, just trust me. And there she was, getting gifts for everyone. Now, while getting a gift for one person in our friend group, she urgently texts me, asking Charles, which one of these figures of anime would this person like the most? Now, here I am, looking at this photo for a man I've known well since 2014. He has told me many times about his favorites and his dislikes. I am then asked, what are his thoughts on Naruto? Who does he like in it? I failed to even think of an intelligible response. I had to say, go and ask this other person. They'd know. Sending that message, frankly, made me think, do I even know this person? It turned out that Naruto is legitimately one of his favorite anime. And yes, I'd been told this many times, and I remember the conversations now that he mentions it. Just to me, a real friend ought to know this. It made me think, do I even really know my friends? I am horrible at getting gifts for people, or if they like or dislike certain things. I work a full-time job, 40 hours a week, and then on top of that, I make these videos, and yeah, they do alright. I have a Patreon, and that brings in some money to cover the editors I have on board, yet I spend nearly every waking minute working on this channel, and an additional at least 40 to 50, maybe 60 hours a week on here. I rarely go out, even though I really try and push myself to. Yet when I do, the thought of I could be writing or editing never leaves my mind, and I know it's wrong. I know I should be just enjoying being out, being in the city, drinking at a bar. And what do you know? I have known some of these people for 10 years, and if we were to part ways or split or something were to happen, would I or could I truthfully say, yes, I knew these people? Did I honestly spend enough time trying to get to actually know them? Did I allocate enough time to say, bro, let's go get a drink, come over to watch a movie? What's the right amount of time to allocate towards things like this? What I do know that there is family that I only ever see once or twice a year, and some that unless there's an engagement party or a huge life-changing event, I just don't see them. Hell, there was a funeral I wasn't even invited to. I know it's bad when people ask to hang out with me, and this happened really recently, someone I have known since moving as a 10-year-old to this new town. And to this person, you did nothing wrong, it's just a horrible reflection that I saw. Getting a message, hey, I know you're a busy guy, but me and a few people are going out. I know you're busy, but no stress. I just wanted to invite you. This is the impression I have given to everyone in my life. So when I see Frieren crying over the exact same type of feeling, I extrapolate her feelings of yearning to know people, to know what actually experiencing life is like. I say all this while typing away on a Google Doc and now recording in front of a camera, again using art as a way to express myself. In watching Frieren and then using this experience and time to pump out a video, instead of really doing anything to change my circumstances. My issue frankly comes from the fact that YouTube and doing this full time, this is just reality. A sacrifice is needed. I have friends and people helping me out, but I can't afford to pay them to warrant this type of work ethic that I have. Just, it's horrible for me, or of me, to ever think for a second, man, why aren't you on the ball? Why aren't you as invested in this as I am? I undoubtedly know they are trying their hardest in their current situation, and that doing YouTube or filmmaking is also their dream. Yet because they at least know how to have a life, I don't feel it's fair to cast any judgment. It's more so envy, if anything else. I just have one last example to circle back to for Gant's video.
Like, my parents were in my home in Thailand, and I'd hardly spent any time with them, even though I wanted to go out and just have them one-on-one time with my parents. I was just like grinding because I was like, I can't let you guys down.
Gant here references the episode about the old guard defending his post for years upon years, being one of the very few characters this season who was able to relate to Frieren in living a long time, in having shared memories. The entire episode is about, sharing the moments with the people you love, and when they go, you are almost the harbingers of what and who they were, of their entire life story. Or if you pass, the roles are reversed. Your stories pass through them, through the people you love. This old guard had lived so long that sadly the memories of his beloved had begun to pass. I know this feeling, to lose the idea of the face and voice of someone you love. As of working on this video, it's been 15 years exactly now since I've lost my mum. And I think to myself, all these times recently when my dad has asked, "Charlie, are you doing anything at the moment?" And I respond, "Yes, Dad, very busy." Will this in years to come bite me in having forged enough memories? I don't know the answer to any of these questions really. They are not ones that get me down, but they play on my mind nonetheless. It's this very scary line of thinking that Frieren prompts, whether consciously or subconsciously. This is her battle that we watch, one that came all too suddenly at the death of her friend or love of Himmel, the hero. No, I don't think I am. This is the job I want. This is all I am. It's all I know. What I'm going to be. I just have to be better. I know people say, oh, being a YouTuber is an easy job. All you do is talk about movies and anime or whatever, or play video games. I know it's more than that. I know what it takes to make a video, to really make a video. Those comments don't truthfully bother me. YouTube is my only form of artistic expression, and I'm able to actually process my thoughts on things. I have done this since like 2016. That was 8 years ago. That's more than a third of my life being dedicated to this dumb thing, but I'm proud of it. This channel, the growth, it's a special part of me. Frieren opened my eyes. However, in that journey to collect more grimoires or to go to the place where souls rest, to take notice every step of the way, to really be in the moment, because before you even notice, you would have lived a lifetime and everything would have passed you by. To appreciate the people around you, and to that, I thank Frieren. That's it for this video, thanks to my patrons. In the top mate tier, we have Nick, you ripper. Thank you for becoming our first top mate member. In the great mate tier, we have Colin and CJ. And in the good mate tier, we have Jadu Sable. Subscribe to the channel if you want, join the Discord, the link's in the description down below. Thanks.